Years ago, Skip Campbell gave a talk called How to Live the Life of a Surgeon. So this morning we're going to try and build upon that a little bit. I've been inspired by working with my colleagues. In Orlando in 2018, a talk was given called Advocacy and Leadership in Pediatric Surgery. We've given you a lot of information this morning. I'd like you to pause for a second and ask yourself a couple of questions. What am I going to do with the things I've learned today? And was there anything new that I learned or felt from the information I was given? During that talk, the speaker talked about opioid reduction. And then in the middle, surprised the congregation or the group by saying that there was another form of advocacy and spoke about removing the suffering and silence from our professional life. The APSA Board of Governors was moved by this and invited Dr. Brandt and I to come the next day to their meeting to talk about creating organizational peer support. Dr. Brandt and I suggested that we pursue a train-the-trainer modality. And when we said that, half of the Board of Governors raised their hands and said, that won't work at my hospital. Our institution has weaponized the concept of resilience, and they'll beat us with it instead of helping us with it. So we agreed that we would pursue an organizational peer support. Oh, sorry, going the wrong way. Mary and I did a rock, paper, scissors, and she lost, and she became the boss for the first year, and I was the gopher. Over the next 2 years, we accomplished a couple of things. One is we moved from a task force to a committee, which is no mean feat in the APSA organization. We created a web presence, and we began to raise awareness by giving talks at the PD meeting and other places to help people understand better what surgeon wellness meant. So if you go to our website now, you can see Dr. Berman and Dr. Barksdale bearing testimony or talking about the opportunity to use resources in the APSA system. We have a referral form that you can use to recommend or to request help for yourself, which happens commonly, or to request help for a colleague. And when you go to the submission part at the bottom of this page, you can choose from one of about 20 trained individuals to help you or your colleague work through this difficult period that we all are going to have. And they will commit to meet with that individual virtually in the next 24 hours. So to be clear about this, peer support is an outside-in phenomenon. It is a recovery tool for something that's happened already. You and I are trauma surgeons, and we all know that the best trauma treatment is to avoid the injury in the first place. So let's talk for a little bit about what the Wellness Committee has put in place for prevention. This afternoon, you'll learn something about ergonomics that was led by Dr. Rila and her colleagues. We connected with an already excellent program in coaching by these two prominent surgeons, and many of us are participating in the coaching process. We decided that since we work in a litigious environment, that it would be useful for us to bring in an expert who's one of us to help us learn how to prevent being in a situation like that. And so I suggest all of you put on your diapers and come and listen to this talk tomorrow, because it'll all make you a little nervous as you listen to what Mark will have to say to us. We all have the opportunity to create increased connections, as Mary had said. And finally, there is a presence on the in the APSA community of evening events where, whether it's Sip and Share with Mindy or APSA-SODS with the Ethics Committee, where we are learning as a community to understand better the moral distress that we experience and how not to just be technically excellent surgeons, but how to live the life of a surgeon. So this is what we've done so far, and we're ready to pass the baton as this organization continues to evolve. What would you like to do next? We'd like to invite you to contact the leaders of the Wellness Committee at this email address and let us know what's necessary and what we should do next. Ready to answer questions. Thank you.
have a few minutes now for any commentary, and after the session, we're all available in person at the front, and would also, as your thoughts kind of resonate about this topic, would truly love to hear what our membership would like to be most beneficial. So thank you to our speakers. Are there any comments before we conclude our session? Questions?
Hi, good afternoon. Sarah Jones Sapienza from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Without tipping my hand and asking a leading question, I'll just ask what your thoughts are on being called a provider day in and day out. Dr. Brandt.
Looks like Dr. Brandt wants to take that one.
So I don't use the word. I refuse to use the word. My current plural, we need a good plural, is healers, but my wife says it's a little foo-foo, but we need a word. But providers came into the lexicon because of the business world. You provide a service. That's not what we do. It implies like taking something off the shelf, right? And so I agree with you. I will not use the word. I correct people when they use it. The other thing is that it was the word that was used in German to define Jewish physicians and when their licenses were taken away. So there's a lot of reasons for us to get rid of that word. I'm still searching for the alternative plural, but totally.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of the most marginalizing terms that we could be called. None of us went to provider school, nor did we do our residency in providery. So thank you.
Dr. Stylianos.
Hi. I just wanted to make a comment to a lot of the chiefs that are in the room. That means that we're old, and we probably were not brought up embracing these concepts. But here's our opportunity as chiefs to make sure that the next generation is taken care of. It's so important for us to support and encourage everything that we've just heard, to be sure that the next generation feels a little bit less pain and isolation than we may have on our way up. So I know you can all do it. I'm pledged to do it, and thank you for bringing this to us.
Okay. Final question from that microphone, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Wonderful presentation that you guys did. Heather Nolan, Pensacola, Florida. One of the questions I have is I see a lot of collaboration with our administration in order to move this forward. In the interim, until we get that point where we have those talking points, what advice do you have for us now to talk to our administrators about this and start making a change currently?
I'll just add, I think minds are changed by data, but hearts are changed by stories. So you need to tell them about the kid that died in the ICU. You need to tell them about what you're experiencing. I don't think they actually understand.
When we began our peer support program 10 years ago, it was after I had had a bad day in the operating room. And there was no support in the institution or the university. And so after 6 months of therapy, I was angry that a senior leader in the system couldn't find help when an event like this occurred. And so I'm just speaking the first person, or as Mary said, I'm bearing witness that one by one I picked off the people in the C Wing and told them that our hospital wasn't as great a place to work as they thought it was. We win the Fortune 100 award each year, but we had a blind spot. We were missing the opportunity to help the people who were doing the hard work. To the credit of our administration, they brought resources and personnel to bear to put this program together. And we learned from the nationwide group who had preceded us, but they, I don't know, I guess, as Mary said, pick them off one by one, tell them the story, let them feel the burden, let them feel the heat a little bit of what they're missing, and then invite them to improve.
Thank you for a terrific panel. I just want to add on to what Steve said, and I think it's really important for APSA, as senior members of APSA, that we really empower our fellows that are going out and looking at jobs. And to echo what Kurt said during our last Connect and Share, we need to empower them when they're going out to interview, that they need to ask leadership at hospitals, how are you going to help me be a safe surgeon and take care of kids safely? And I think it's really also important for everyone to realize that time and money can be saved, spent, and wasted. And contractual agreements, whether you're signing a contract to be a new surgeon, it's not all about the money. Establish the boundaries so that you can be a safe professional.
Thank you so much, you guys. Round of applause for this awesome panel.